Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Once Upon Discussion with your host, Robert Leiden, powered by Insticator. And for this episode, I will be discussing the Snow Queen. Not the episode of the Snow Queen, the character Ingrid herself, played by Elizabeth Mitchell, who is, might I add, one of my favorite characters the show has ever had. She's beautiful. Elizabeth Mitchell is an amazing, amazing actress, and the entire approach to the Snow Queen is just phenomenal, in my opinion of this. Like, I love her so much, and for everyone out there, please share your thoughts and opinions of the Snow Queen with me because I just want to talk about her and discuss her as much as I can. So the Snow Queen, as we all know, in Once Upon a Time, is the original Snow Queen because Elsa's the Ice Queen. That's how they got away with that. And she has two other sisters who are named Gerda and Helga. And for an unexplained reason, she's born with magic. And with that magic comes a consequence. Like, she inadvertently hides herself away because she's so afraid of having her magic and then hurting other people. And that's not a that's a very bad thing because it makes Ingrid an introvert, but it also allows for an interesting progression of her character because we see Ingrid really go from being isolated and not understanding those around her into a full-on change that I'll get to at the end of it. Now, one of my favorite things about Ingrid is she's not truly like a venomous evil villain. She's actually quite nice, or nice-ish, and she just wants a family that loves her. Like, it's just something you have to help appreciate. I mean, she's not a Zelena. Zelena is pure evil, just wants what she wants, and is just evil. Like, I mean, I love Zelena for that reason, but I liked Ingrid because she wasn't evil. She was just different. She was herself, and she's just this. I don't know. I like Lost a lot, so I was biased towards Elizabeth Mitchell from the beginning of just being it. Scarlett on the Instigator chat just told me that she's not a fan of her storyline being Ingrid's. If you could tell me why, I think that I would like to hear that more. Thank you for Scarlett. All of her growth was a little jarring. I don't think it was jarring. I thought it was well put. It didn't make sense. Okay, I'll try to help explain how it went. As I said, she is she's born with magic, and she can't control it just because no one in Arendelle knew how to do anything with magic. And it caused her to isolate herself from people around her and to not really know what her magic could do. So because of that, she was really isolated, and that isolation just kind of caused her to go a little crazy in a sense, but she still wanted her sister's love and protection. And with that, we have them going to Rumpelstiltskin, and Rumpelstiltskin takes the ribbons from the three of them and gives Ingrid the urn and the gloves. Now, the gloves are obviously a homage to Elsa's gloves in Frozen, and then with those gloves, Ingrid feels better about herself, and she has the urn, which could be this catalyst if her powers are out of control. So, there's an accident with the Duke of Wesselton where Ingrid kills Helga, which was really sad. Like I said, I love Ingrid so much, and the second that Helga died, like you're like, oh no, what's gonna happen? And then Gerda, who's Helga and who's Elsa and Anna's mother, traps her in an urn for over 30 years. And they always said they'd be there for each other, and Gerda just broke that promise right away. She wouldn't even listen to Ingrid. And I think the time in the urn is also another effect because Ingrid was isolated her whole life, even though she had her sister's love. And even with that, it wasn't enough. She needed more, and she wanted a whole family that would love her, which is her main point in Storybrooke. Now, I liked the Frozen storyline quite a bit. I liked Frozen a lot too. The introduction of Elsa actually got me very excited for season 4 part A. I'm not actually as excited as I am for 4 as I am to as I was for part 1. It felt like too much fan service. I don't think it was fan service. I think you know, ABC is a production of the Disney company, and the creators felt that Frozen could fit into their company and or into the canon of the show, and I think it fit really well into it. I think Frozen would have done better, or would have been even more interesting, because Elsa's kind of a boring character. Once upon a time, made Elsa more interesting to me. Had Ingrid been Elsa in Frozen, if that makes sense. Have Elsa borrow traits from Ingrid, and have Ingrid be or have Elsa, you know, be evil and then repent, which is what happened all the time. Now, in Storybrooke, there's a lot that goes on in the present, and then we also get a little of the present past of Storybrooke, and we also get Ingrid after she comes to our world. Now, before she even comes to our world, after the movie of Frozen, as we all know, that's when this arc takes place. Now, we have more character expansion. It totally happened. Passenger, thank you. I definitely think Elsa got a lot of character expansion. Anna stayed very much true to who she was, but Anna was already developed, and she's already actually fun and interesting. So I liked Anna. I was quite a fan of Anna, or Anna. Kristoff, unfortunately, I don't think really got too much development. And Hans in the Frozen storyline was boring as anything. All right, so she didn't leave her dress once in 8 weeks. Well, if you remember, Elsa made her dress when she's saying "let it go," which means her dress can be created by magic. So clearly, she has the power to constantly change it or keep it, you know, clean. You know, so that was the only way I could allow that to fly without it being weird. I mean, because the Snow Queen, if you watch the episodes, she changes her dress several times. It's never the same one. It's only the same one when she's in Storybrooke, but when she's in Arendelle of the past, it's a different dress, which I thought was kind of funny. Or just another way of showing that they at least put her in different outfits. But taking Elsa out of her iconic outfit, I guess they didn't want to do. And Anna had 3 outfits that she wore in these episodes too. But my point is to focus on the Snow Queen. And I know that with Once Upon a Time, you know, Frozen has a big fan base, or also a lack of a fan base with it. And like I said, I think this was totally necessary, or not necessary. I thought I was totally into this storyline. I just thought Ingrid was like what Zelina could have been. Because, you know, Ingrid, you know, we see her and, you know, she wants a family that loves her. Now that happens in Breaking Glass episode 5. And with Ingrid, yes, Lizzie, she does change her outfit in the new short, which I'm very excited to see for, that's Cinderella. That'll be airing in front of Cinderella on March 13th. So I'll be doing a review of Cinderella 2 for anyone who wants to subscribe to Other Robert, my channel, to check out the movie reviews, because I'll be talking about Frozen Fever and Cinderella at the same time. Anyway, so let's just go back to present day Arendelle. And in the past of Arendelle, now after their parents are dead, Anna goes on a journey to find out why their parents left. And with their parents, you know, going away, that was the reason they died, we find out, is they wanted to get rid of Elsa's magic. And Anna was actually very much against that. She doesn't want Elsa to lose her powers, because she loves Elsa for who she is. Now, when Anna is gone, Elsa and Kristoff inadvertently release the Snow Queen due to Hans, because Hans is looking for an urn that can trap magical creatures, and he unleashed Ingrid, and then Ingrid froze him because Elsa was called a monster. Now, that scene when Ingrid is released was probably one of my favorite scenes in the entire show, because Hans is, you know, attacking Elsa verbally, well, waiting for her to pretty much be sucked into the urn, and then the Snow Queen appears, and you kind of expected it, you kind of didn't, because like the liquid was white, and you could have thought, oh, maybe the liquid would have trapped her, but then when it backs away and then it creates Elizabeth Mitchell, you're just like, oh wow, that was a pretty cool twist. So, you know, now Ingrid has been Elsa, and she instantly loves Elsa, because Elsa has ice powers, and you know, then Anna comes back, and Anna does not trust Ingrid at all. And I can see why, because Ingrid has this really icy demeanor. And like I said, that icy demeanor comes from her being betrayed by her own sister and being cooped up in an urn. I mean, let's put anyone else in solitary isolation for a while and see what happens to you. There's no way you're going to be happy and nice until, yeah, I'm not going to get into that. So anyway, my point being, Anna doesn't trust Ingrid, and then they go to the rock trolls, and she meets Belle. And I thought that storyline with Belle was kind of stupid, but they needed some way to integrate Emily de Raven into the storyline because Belle did nothing in season 4, part 1. And I wanted Hans. I super want Hans to see Janice. Yes, I really hated Hans in this. Kyle Jacob Moore. I don't know what he's in. I mean, he's an okay actor, I would say, but I totally would be okay without having Hans in the show. Just whatever. So what happens is, Ingrid now has Anna trapped, and Anna isn't freed by Elsa, who they don't believe. Anna isn't freed by Elsa, and now with Anna being freed, they try to get Ingrid back into the urn. And it fails because Ingrid casts a spell of Shattered Sight onto onto Anna. And by casting the spell of Shattered Sight, it reveals Anna's truest, darkest, and deepest emotions. And that emotion, that's what Ingrid had said, is interesting to me because, Anna seems to be completely against Elsa at this point. And her whole life, she never once even looked like she didn't like Elsa or was mad at Elsa. She was upset, but she wasn't angry. So I think this spell really enacts anger as opposed to bring out your true emotions. Yes, Janice, as I said a few minutes ago that, Ingrid did kill Helga, and it was a shock, like as you said. But when Gerda wouldn't even give Ingrid a benefit of the doubt before she could even do anything, she instantly put her in the urn and then put that urn away. And I get why that happens, and it allows for Ingrid to kind of go on to do what she does because it drives her crazy. Lizzie, I love Zelina. I did a whole episode about Zelina 2-3 weeks ago, so that is on my YouTube channel if you want to listen to me talk about Zelina, because I loved her as well. So, but Ingrid isn't a villain. I don't find her to be a villain. She has villainous intentions, but her repentance and her purpose is more anti-hero than anything else. She's not a villain, and I like her because of that. The show is a way of making you love certain characters. Ingrid is a character that I very much love. I like Ingrid a lot more than I like Belle on this show. I like her more than I like Emma. Half the characters are not as entertaining as Ingrid ever was. So now in this episode of Shattered Sight, Elsa then gets put into the urn, and then Rumpel takes the urn, and then what did anyone think about Anna putting Elsa in the urn and her being taken away by Rumpelstiltskin? And that kind of left a hole for Ingrid because she froze over all of Arendelle for 30 years, and then she wants to find a third sister, and that third sister was Emma, which is how it ties back to that. So the Sorcerer's Apprentice, which is a storyline that has still not been cleared up 100%, and by not allowing Ingrid to call Rumpelstiltskin and take the urn back and give him that sorcerer's hat, Ingrid is able to then travel to our world, or the world without magic, even though there is magic in it. And she ends up being a foster mother and finds Emma. Now, Emma's interactions with Ingrid as a child are actually they're interesting, and there's a little homage to 101 Dalmatians, and Emma's able to activate some of her magic on the inside when she is at that aquarium. Now, all right, I got 2 comments from Lizzie and from Pastor. All right. Lizzie, I totally agree with you. I don't think Shattered Sight brought out true emotions. I said that I think it really does distort them. And from Pastor, did she have to freeze Mary? All right. The writers clearly needed Regina to have more conflict. That's why Ingrid had to freeze her. I really don't think, actually freezing Marion seemed very much outside of her scope of character, because Marion had nothing to do with Elsa or Regina or Ingrid. It was definitely a way to just cause more conflict for Regina and to make Regina dislike Ingrid. That was the purpose of that, and I didn't like that myself. I like Regina and Robin Hood as a couple. I think they're a good couple, and I thought even bringing Marion back from the dead, or in time, or back from the past into the future, was a stupid twist just to give Regina more and more heartbreak. And she's one of my favorite characters, Regina, and I couldn't stand that. Ingrid with Marion was just a catalyst to make Regina and Robin Hood's relationship more and more complicated. There's no way she really wanted to do it. She said that she did it to teach Elsa a lesson that people would turn on her, but that was just the writing being a piece of work. And I think the episodes have some really good moments. Like Shattered Sight was great. Fall was pretty good. Now, and then the episode where they, oh my God, the episode where Ingrid casts the spell. The spell is completely inactive, which I can't remember the episode's title of, but it's episode 10. Episode 10 is amazing, and there's just some episodes that were weird. Like the episode in which Elsa is introduced, which I believe was called Whiteout, which is also a score on the soundtrack of Frozen. That episode was really good with Elsa, but with Bo Peep, it was weird. Now, I thought the Bo Peep part was totally unneeded. Now, all right, so pretty much Ingrid is watching Emma for a long time, and then, she decides to make Emma use her magic, but it doesn't work because Emma gets thrown from a car, and she runs away from Ingrid. And Ingrid then goes to Storybrooke. Now, it's never explained how Ingrid finds Storybrooke. It's a weird conundrum, or that's not the right word, but it doesn't make sense that she found Storybrooke. And then there's a deleted scene when Ingrid comes into Storybrooke, and when she's there, Regina meets her, and she goes, "Who the hell are you?" And Ingrid, she plays the weak part, but at the same time, she says, "I think someone cursed me, and I hate the cold." Like she's playing along with it, and Regina didn't suspect anything. That was another scene that was deleted for a reason, but it was like one of the true only scenes when the Snow Queen and Regina herself got to interact together. Now, passenger who just wrote, "I'm still sobbing over the mid-season finale. I have a question for you. Are you sobbing over what happened to Rumpelstiltskin and Belle, or are you sobbing over what happened to the Snow Queen?" Because I would be more upset over the Snow Queen, but let me know what you're more upset about. So, in Storybrooke, the Snow Queen frees Marion as, as we talked about, which we hated, which I was not a fan of. And, Marion is frozen, and this is the build-up to the spell of Shattered Sight working properly. And by having the spell of Shattered Sight work, she needs Regina's mirror. And, it brings back Cindy into the mix, but he's only in 2 episodes. So Regina now has her mirror, has the mirror with Cindy, but then Elizabeth Mitchell, Ingrid takes it, and then she puts her mirror together. And that episode actually had a lot of really cool things where it had Regina and Emma team up, and at the end of it, they even reconciled the differences a little bit, which I really liked as well. So following that, let's just skip a little bit. With Emma, get kidnapped the Snow Queen or capture the Snow Queen, and then the Snow Queen, instigates her, telling her people don't love her because they don't understand her, and that causes Emma to lose control of her magic. And then, Elsa is able to calm Emma down. That episode 8, I think it is, 8 and 9, the 2 long Shattered Sight episode. The beginning of it was kind of boring with Emma because she's so focused on getting rid of her magic, and I thought that was just ridiculously stupid because there's no reason for her to have lost control, but that just is talking about writing, not so much actual reason. So, Elsa's able to help Ingrid. Elsa's able to help Emma control her magic, and pretty much, that allows Ingrid to then put those ribbons, which was focused on in the episode The Snow Queen, onto Elsa and Emma. And by having the ribbons on them, she can then channel her magic and cast the spell of Shattered Sight, and she casts it over the town. And the spell, Regina then went after Mary, Margaret, and David. She was originally going after, Emma, but she couldn't find her, so she went after David and Mary, Margaret. And we only saw a couple of the people in the town kind of rolling around, we saw there's wars fighting. It just looked like people were yelling. I mean, Ingrid's spell was supposed to kill everyone, so that way it would just work like that. And I don't know, the spell was kind of weak in terms of what it should have done. But my point being, after the spell is cast, Elsa and Emma aren't affected, neither is Anna, and they want to find it. And they want to fix it. They want to make Ingrid stop it, and the only way to stop it is for Ingrid to die. And they go to the Snow Queen's cave, and at the Snow Queen's cave, Anna comes up, and Ingrid then tells Ingrid is told by Anna that Gerda is sorry for what she did, and it pretty much makes Ingrid completely repent and then lift the spell and die. And the music during her death was just amazing, I have to add. All right, Lizzie asked me a question from Instigator Chat, and I'll read it out loud. Ingrid wasn't going to make Emma and Elsa love her, right? She was lewd enough to think that their memories would change their minds. And once upon a time, in most shows of magic, it doesn't, like, love can't exist through magic. Love has to be created. She wanted them to be her sisters, so, like, she took away their memories, and she was hoping that when everyone had, I assume, died, and she restored the memories, it would make them happy enough to love her. And I mean, maybe she could have pulled out memories of Ingrid, making Elsa and Emma feel bad enough, so that way, like, the positive memories would just be there and to be no negative memories. I mean, her plan was relatively convoluted because she wanted to get rid of everyone else and just have it be Elsa, Emma, and herself in Storybrooke, and have Storybrooke be her ice palace, as Emma called it. And I mean, she just wanted love. She wanted a family that loves her, and that's all she was going to get. And that's what she wanted. And by not having it, by not having her family truly accept her, or even accepting herself, it caused her to lose herself, to her own power. One of her best lines is, and I'm a total quote freak that I can do this. One of her lines is, "I am a monster, not because of my powers, but because of what I let them turn me into." And, she was so afraid of her magic that she pretty much said, "I have powers, I'm evil. Like, this is what I have to do." But she's not. She was never actually truly evil. I mean, her spell, like I said, didn't kill anyone. I mean, Regina is more evil than Ingrid ever would have been. Ingrid is an anti-hero who just has all these, who just wanted to be herself. She wanted people to accept her for who she was. All right, let's see. The spell was straight up silly. Regina would absolutely not even hesitate to kill the hell out of Snow when she was in evil mood. Exactly. Like, Ingrid, the thing is with Ingrid is she's not a villain. She was, kind of a villain, but she was an anti-hero. Just she was being, against the grain, but she wasn't bad. It's very much just like what Elsa was kind of supposed to have been, but she wasn't, totally cuckoo. I don't know. I have, like, mixed and odd emotions about, like, sometimes the writing and how it's on the show, but I think in general that the Frozen storyline with the Snow Queen was done really well, and I'm actually bummed out that Elsa is gone, and so is Ingrid. But at least we get a little bit more of the backstory of the characters and whatnot, and I still found it enjoyable. I just got another question on YouTube where it asked from, oh gosh, where'd it go? Sorry. From Clinton Scooby Robinson, why are all the women in the show crazy? Well, I don't want to answer that. I don't have an actual answer for why they're all crazy. I think everyone is crazy, and everyone has their own past that just drives them to do wacky things. And that drive is what causes the crazy to happen. Like I said, Ingrid herself just wanted a family that loves her. That was her plan revealed in season 4, episode 5. The second she put the mirror back together, she said, "I want a family who loves me." And then, she worked on a way of getting it. She wanted 2 sisters who would accept her for who she was, and they would just then be together. I mean, it just makes you think, like, she wasn't one-track minded. She just had a goal, she wanted it, and she eventually failed, and she realized that she was wrong. Now, one good thing about villains on the show that I like is when they realize what they did was wrong, and they need to stop. Now, Rumpelstiltskin, we all know he killed himself in episode 11 of season 3, where he sacrificed himself because he just knew he couldn't allow himself to be with his father. And it was just like a great and total sacrifice. And followed by that, Zelina just didn't care. She just wanted what she wanted. Now, I did not, by the way, I did not ask, by the way, Janice, I did not say the women on the show are crazy. That was a question from another YouTube viewer. I don't think any character on this show is sane. I think they are all actually, they're all themselves, and they all have their own goals and intentions, and those goals and intentions are either good or evil depending on your viewpoint on them. I don't see anyone being truly, truly good or anyone being truly, truly evil. Snow White and Regina had a discussion about that when they were looking for Emma. So overall, I would never say the show has normal people on it, because no one on the show is sane. Because everyone, it's a fairy tale show. I mean, what do you expect? But overall, I only have a few more minutes left, so anyone that has questions about the storyline they want me to answer, please let me know your review of it. What did you think? So please let me know. I like I said, only have 2-3 minutes left to talk about this discussion will go really fast. Yes, Neil would be extremely mad at Rumpelstiltskin because of his regression. Now, but his regression towards being evil and to killing Hook was based upon the fact that he did no longer want to be controlled. His whole arc with the Wicked Witch was just like, that's what catalyzed him to regress, being controlled by Zelina. He doesn't want that. And that's what also caused him to, his evilness is what caused him to lose Belle. His greatest weakness is power, but it's also his greatest strength. And I don't like Rumpelstiltskin. I never will. I liked his character for just a little bit, but right after he came back to life in season 3, I was like, oh god. But his revival was needed in order to get Elsa free from the urn, which had to catalyze season 4, because apparently Elsa's urn was in Rumpel's vault the whole time, as we all know, and the only one that could get into that is the Dark One. And if the Dark One died, the way he did, and there was no new Dark One, no one would ever be able to get Elsa out of the vault, even Ingrid. Like, it would just be impossible. So they had to bring him back for that storyline reason. I'm thinking. Actually, I don't even have a clue of what the heck could happen in season 4, part B, with him teaming up with the Queens of Darkness. Anyone have a prediction for that? I'll talk about that as it comes closer to it. Yes, Scarlett, he totally has postpartum syndrome. It's totally. He totally has PTSD. He hates being controlled. He has all this power, and he's always living in fear of control or lack of it. Which is another. Rumpelstiltskin is also just as crazy. Absolute power corrupts absolutely, and he has the power of darkness, and it totally corrupted him, and it caused him to lose his wife. And even Belle's love wouldn't be able to bring him out of it. Now, to wrap this up, because I really only have a minute left with this, I thought season 4 part B was great. I liked Elsa, I liked Anna, I liked Ingrid. Could have cared less for Hans. I thought the show did really well with it. Clearly, bringing in Frozen was a publicity part of it as well. We all know that, even though people deny it. However, I think it was a well worthwhile act, and to get this next part of season 4 being with Maleficent and everyone else, Cruella de Vil especially, I think it'll be really cool too. Now, anyone have a final thought about it? Like I said, I loved Ingrid. Her backstory, everything about her was great to me. She's beautiful. Elizabeth Mitchell is a really great actress. For anyone who hasn't seen Lost, I really suggest watching Lost. She's in season 3, or she appears in season 3 of the show, and I loved her character. I just have only positive things to say about it. Plus, she has that icy demeanor to her voice when she was acting, which just made it even more and more interesting. So yeah, I would say overall the Frozen storyline was amazing. It was better than the Peter Pan storyline. I might be doing Peter Pan or Regina next week. So let me know. Anyone have a preference? Please tweet me at @otherrobert to let me know what you would like to discuss next week. I'm leaning towards Regina, but I might have to do Pan just so I cover every villain. And Lizzie, you said, I was so sad when the Gauntlet showed the dagger as his greatest love. It's not his greatest love. Remember, it was his greatest weakness. It points you to your enemy's weaknesses, which was the dagger. Most Rumpelstiltskin said it normally points to your greatest love, but it doesn't. It points to the greatest weakness, which is generally that person's love. And in Rumpel's case, that wasn't it. It was the dagger. I think he totally deserved that ending, by the way. And you know, he didn't like Ingrid. Like you could tell that he did not like her, especially when she got enough power. And I loved when Ingrid opposed him. I thought that was great. So I'm gonna wrap up the chat right now, guys. So tuning in and watching, all of you on Instigator, the chat. I really appreciate it. If you like what you'd like to see, I'll be here next Thursday at 6 o'clock to discuss these more. Like the YouTube channel for reviews of movies and TV shows and whatnot, so always click subscribe, and always make sure to check out the Instigator website. They're really cool. So thank you everyone for watching, and have a weekend. Bye guys.